So here at RUUT, we're all about people. So our mission statement is to see the creativity and value in every person, big or small, to listen and encourage, to breathe life into, to draw closer and go deeper. That's our purpose. For our company, it's called RUUT, and the whole idea is everyone is rooted in a story. And so our approach to what we do as a production company is getting to people's stories. Even if it's selling a product, selling a service, selling an idea, we're all about who are the people involved in this and how can we get that story out. So someone that sticks out to me when it comes to just filmmaking and someone I look up to is this guy, Solomon Lighthelm. I think what really just turns me on to him is he's an ultra creative filmmaker, but he has a huge faith background too, and he incorporates that into his films. And so for us, we care all about people, and our faith is really important to us. So yeah, he sticks out as a huge inspiration. I'd say the toughest aspects of producing videos today would be managing all the moving parts, but also managing the hopes and expectations of everyone involved. That's the client, that's your crew, everyone. We want everyone to love and enjoy that experience, but to take all those hopes and expectations and make them all positive can be challenging. I always use the metaphor that filmmaking is like a construction company. If you don't have the right tools, you can't build the right house. What I look for in a camera is probably everything that a camera can do. I look for dynamic range, I look for bit depth, I look for frame rates, and I look for resolution and sensor size. It's kind of like everything that makes up a camera, but they all play a crucial role. Go-to cameras, I have a lot of experience with Red, so it's definitely a go-to of mine. I do see all cameras like tools in a toolbox, right? They all can serve different purposes for different things. So I love your REs, I love your Sonys and Canons, but I'd say something we use very often are Reds, and yeah, we like them. I'd say we started introducing drones into our production probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It's who doesn't want a camera in the air? So we kind of did as soon as we could, but camera systems weren't always at the level that we wanted them to be. We were shooting a lot of higher end cameras on the ground, and so sometimes it was tough when the camera systems just weren't up to par that were in the air. Honestly, I would say when I saw that the Evolve 2 had a micro four thirds sensor and had frame rates above 60, that is when I really started going, ooh, all right. Because for me, we do a lot of high speed stuff, and so we were looking for cameras that could do above 60, but we wanted that depth of field. And so when I saw that the Evolve 2 had a 4/3 inch sensor, I was like, yes, because you just can't get that on a 1 inch sensor from a lot of these other drones. So that was a big deal. I'd say the most common way we use drones to tell better stories is just that grand opening. If we're trying to put people into the space that we're at, there's no better way to do it than to show a landscape or just this big opening drone shot of where we're at. For example, we recently told a story for a medical client that we have about a patient, and she's like kind of off the beaten path in Virginia in ranch land. And so we just have this sweeping shot of horses and this ranch that she lives on, and yeah, it's awesome. I'd say the E2 has added a ton of value on set because it allows us to get these shots that are on par with the cameras we're using on the ground, but we're not having to bring these ginormous like drone rigs. We can literally put this thing in a backpack and have it seem relatively nonchalant, but by the time that thing's recording and it's in the final film, no one's questioning whether that was the same level of quality as our on the ground cameras. So it's added a ton of value, not only just with its quality, but also its ease of use, because it's just a lot of work to travel with these giant drones sometimes. So some of my favorite things in addition to dynamic range is sensor size and frame rate. And so the Evolve 2 can do 120 frames a second, which we as a team shoot a ton of 120 or high frame rates on it with our ground cameras. So to have a drone that can match it was pretty next level for us. I'll be honest, a lot of our productions, we are that balance between lean and mean crew with some films that can really impact you. And so for us, we have to be able to pack the same punch in terms of our production, but the footprint in which we do it has to be relatively small sometimes. And so with the Evolve 2, the fact that we can put it in a backpack and it's like, oh, it's just a drone, but when they see the quality that comes out of it, it's like, whoa, it looks like it was a RED in the air or some other big camera system. I'd say what stands out to me about the Evolve 2 is the interchangeable lenses. I think a lot of times when you're picking drones, some might have more frame rates or larger sensors, but then lens choice, it's a big deal. We swap our lenses. We shoot a lot on primes, and so to have a drone that can be treated very similar, which is like, oh, let's shoot with the 25, or no, this is the time to shoot with the 45, or no, let's go a little bit wider. To have that same level of flexibility is huge for us. We don't want to be stuck with one focal length and just be like, oh, everything's just a wide shot on our drone. We can get those tighter shots if we need to, and that's what's huge. We were shooting for a big logistics company, and it was cool because on this day, it was super busy. We were doing a lot of stuff in one of their offices, but they had expressed interest in wanting to showcase their awesome transportation vehicles and to get some drone shots. So it was great because we were able to be filming during the day and quickly jump out and use the Evolve 2 to get these really beautiful sweeping shots in Long Beach of their wrapped and branded logistics vehicles kind of transporting things, but it didn't take all the time and effort that it might if you're using just a way bigger drone. So another shoot that comes to mind that we've used the Evolve 2 on is we're filming for this resort, and this resort, they're restoring their entire shoreline, and their property's massive. And so they've expressed to us, it'd be so good to get these cool drone shots, and the Evolve 2 has been the perfect solution because this resort is kind of off the beaten path, and these days are really long because we're trying to get a lot of content. And so we've just been able to quickly fire up the Evolve 2, get high, get low, sweep right over their shore and show some of the construction that's happening, and it's been fantastic. Being able to put it in a flat look too is big for us. We're huge proponents of taking our footage and once we get picture lock, doing a whole grading session. And so to have like a flat look where we can retain all the detail and put an artistic look on it later has been awesome. So some projects that we have coming up is some patient testimonial like stories. Again, we're all about stories, and so for us, I think we get really excited knowing that in addition to just telling the story really well from the ground, that incorporating the drone just brings so much value. The client normally is always wowed by it, and so knowing that we have that ability now to just bring the Evolve 2, bring it up in the air, get some amazing shots, and incorporate in the stories, and in these patient stories, we get really excited about that. Well, before filmmaking, I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, and I think it all just kind of stems from when you're doing something and time just flies by. That's what skateboarding was for me. And so when I started learning filmmaking while I was skateboarding, and the skating thing wasn't working out, it was just a natural path of like, what do I get really excited about? What has no like cap on what you can do? What's artistic where there's just, you can go in any direction. And that was filmmaking for me. So